Ancient Egypt, a land of pharaohs and pyramids, it's a place of mystery and wonder. The ancient Egyptians left behind a rich culture. This culture thrived for thousands of years. Central to this culture was their mythology. Myths were more than just stories. They were explanations for the world. They explained the sun, the moon, and the Nile's floods. One myth stands out as particularly powerful. It is the story of Osiris and Isis. This myth speaks of love, loss, and resurrection. It reflects the Egyptians' beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. Imagine a time before time. The world was new. The gods walked among us. This is where the story of Osiris and Isis begins. It's a tale that has echoed through the ages. It continues to fascinate us today. Let's journey back to ancient Egypt. We'll explore the world of gods and goddesses. Come and discover the enduring power of this incredible myth. The story of Osiris and Isis is a cornerstone of Egyptian mythology. It's a story that was told and retold for generations. It was passed down through hieroglyphs and rituals. This myth wasn't confined to temples and tombs. It permeated every aspect of Egyptian life. It influenced their art, their architecture, and their beliefs about the afterlife. The Egyptians were deeply spiritual people. They believed in the interconnectedness of all things. Their myths were a reflection of this belief. These stories helped them make sense of the world around them. The tale of Osiris and Isis in particular offered them hope and solace. It reassured them that life, even after death, continues. The myth of Osiris and Isis is not just a story of gods, but a reflection of human experiences and emotions. It shows how mythology can bridge the divine and the mortal, the eternal and the temporal. Through these myths, the ancient Egyptians found meaning and purpose in their lives. Osiris was the god of the underworld, a realm he ruled with fairness and justice. He was also the god of life, death, and resurrection, embodying the cycle of life itself. His wife Isis was the goddess of magic, healing, and protection, revered for her wisdom and power. Together they ruled Egypt with wisdom and compassion, bringing peace and prosperity to the land. Osiris, as king, brought civilization to the land, teaching the people the ways of governance and law. He taught the Egyptians agriculture, showing them the secrets of the soil and the cycles of the seasons. He showed them how to cultivate crops and irrigate the land, ensuring bountiful harvests year after year. Under his rule, Egypt prospered, becoming a beacon of wealth and stability in the ancient world. Isis, his queen, supported him in all his endeavors, using her powers to aid and protect the kingdom. She used her magic to protect the people and ensure their well-being, healing the sick and warding off evil. Osiris and Isis were beloved by their people, who saw them as divine benefactors and protectors. They were seen as the ideal rulers, embodying the virtues of justice, wisdom, and compassion. They were just, compassionate, and wise, setting a standard for all future leaders to aspire to. Their reign was a golden age for Egypt, marked by peace, prosperity, and cultural flourishing. The land flourished under their guidance, with the people enjoying unprecedented stability and growth. The Nile River overflowed its banks at the right time each year, bringing fertile silt to the farmlands. This ensured fertile land for crops, allowing the Egyptians to grow enough food to sustain their population. People lived in peace and harmony. Art and culture thrived, with new advancements in architecture, literature, and science. Osiris and Isis were the epitome of balance and order, maintaining harmony in both the physical and spiritual realms. They represented the best of what humanity could achieve, serving as a model for future generations. Their reign was not just about material prosperity, it was also a time of spiritual enlightenment. Osiris and Isis were also spiritual guides, teaching the Egyptians about morality, justice, and the importance of living a righteous life. They taught the Egyptians about morality, justice, and the importance of living a righteous life, emphasizing the need for ethical conduct. They emphasized the concept of Ma'at, the principle that governed the universe. Ma'at was the Egyptian concept of truth, justice, and cosmic order, a guiding principle for all aspects of life. Osiris and Isis stressed the importance of living in harmony with Ma'at, ensuring balance and order in society. However, their idyllic rule was not destined to last as dark forces began to stir. A darkness was brewing in the heart of Osiris's own brother Set, who harbored deep resentment. Set, the god of chaos, envied Osiris's power and popularity, feeling overshadowed by his brother's success. This envy would soon fester into a deadly plot, that would plunge Egypt into turmoil, threatening the peace and prosperity that Osiris and Isis had worked so hard to build. Set, the god of the desert, storms and chaos, was the antithesis of Osiris. Where Osiris represented order and civilization, Set embodied chaos and destruction. He was the embodiment of the wild, untamed forces of nature. He was a powerful and volatile deity, prone to fits of rage and jealousy. His anger was legendary and his jealousy knew no bounds. Set had always resented Osiris. The seeds of envy were planted deep within him. He envied his brother's power, his popularity, and his beautiful wife Isis. The admiration Osiris received only fueled Set's bitterness. As Osiris's reign continued, Set's resentment grew. It became a dark cloud that overshadowed his every thought. It festered within him like a venomous snake, waiting for the right moment to strike. The venom of his hatred was potent and dangerous. Set began to plot against Osiris. His mind was a labyrinth of schemes and deceptions. He whispered lies and sowed discord among the other gods. His words were like poison, spreading doubt and mistrust. He wanted to turn them against his brother. He craved power. The throne of Egypt was his ultimate desire. He believed that he, not Osiris, should rule Egypt. His ambition was as vast as the desert he governed. He devised a cunning plan, a plan that would change the course of history. He would trick Osiris, trap him, and usurp his throne. The sarcophagus was the key to his scheme. Set's plan was as cunning as it was cruel. His heart was as cold as the stone sarcophagus he had crafted. He knew Osiris's weakness, his kindness and trusting nature. These virtues would be his downfall. He decided to use this against him. His strategy was flawless, his resolve unshakable. Set constructed a magnificent sarcophagus. It was a masterpiece designed to entice and deceive. He claimed it was a gift for Osiris, a token of brotherly love masking his true intentions. He organized a grand feast, inviting all the gods. The banquet was a spectacle of divine opulence. At the feast, Set challenged each god to see if they could fit inside the sarcophagus. It was a game, a deadly game. Osiris, unsuspecting of his brother's treachery, accepted the challenge. His trust would be his undoing. As soon as Osiris lay down in the sarcophagus, Set slammed the lid shut. He sealed it tight. The trap was sprung. He cast the sarcophagus into the Nile River. The waters would carry away his brother and his reign. Osiris, trapped inside, was carried away by the currents. The river's embrace was cold and unforgiving. His reign, it seemed, had come to an abrupt and tragic end. The gods mourned, and the world was plunged into chaos. Isis was devastated when she learned of Osiris's fate. Grief threatened to consume her, yet she refused to give up hope. She loved Osiris deeply. She would move heaven and earth to find him. Isis embarked on a perilous journey to find her lost husband. She traveled far and wide, stopping at every town and village, asking if anyone had seen the sarcophagus. Her search led her to Byblos, a city in ancient Phoenicia. There she discovered that the sarcophagus had been carried by the currents all the way to the Phoenician coast. It had become lodged in the roots of a tamarisk tree. The tree had grown around the sarcophagus, encasing it within its trunk. The king of Byblos had been so impressed by the tree's unusual beauty that he had ordered it cut down and made into a pillar for his palace. Isis, disguised as an old woman, gained access to the palace. She befriended the queen. She revealed her true identity and her desperate search for her husband. The queen was moved by Isis's plight. She promised to help. Together they retrieved the sarcophagus from the palace pillar. Isis, overjoyed, prepared to return to Egypt with Osiris's body.